Okay, ladies, now let's get information. I say, okay, ladies, now let's get information. You know you that bitch when you cause all this conversation. Always stay gracious, best revenge is your paper.
It's your girl, the Thick Writer Chick. Thank you for joining in. I have two lovely guests with me today. I have Miss Davis and Miss D Ford. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves to the people?
Hey, hey,
Hey
Was
y'all,
that the
hey.
introduction?
I'm Miss Davis.
Okay.
Mom of two sons, two adult sons.
Dorian.
Y'all want me to
Cool,
say more?
cool.
Residing in Texas, and I'm originally from Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm a business
Okay.
owner, as you can see.
Lord.
Hey, this is my first time doing this, so I don't
Hey
even
y'all,
know.
hey. So I am your favorite girl.
Okay.
Okay, she disappeared.
Dorian.
There she goes.
Y'all don't see me?
Okay,
Okay.
you're back. You're back.
Hey
Yeah,
y'all, so my name is Dorian Ford, aka D. Y'all don't hear me?
I'm hearing you.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
hear.
Oh, okay. So my name is Dorian. Super excited to be on the podcast tonight. I am Louisiana chick through and through, live in Shreveport, born and raised in Shreveport, and just ready to talk about these amazing topics.
Okay, good, good, good. So that's the panel for this evening. And thank you for joining us. Or if you're watching on YouTube or just listening on Spotify, thank you for tuning in because I feel like it's a topic that really needs to be discussed. So there have been, a lot of comments being made on the internet, memes being passed around about modern mothers and how we're not, as strong, etc., as our grandmothers. Here's one humdinger.
We're not them.
Y'all ain't strong enough to have 11 kids like your grandma. That's one that's getting passed around. uh, oh, here's another humdinger. Let me see here. My mama ain't never said she needed a break from us. These new moms is different. So, and I've actually seen that new moms one at least 3 or 4 times when it was really popular on my timeline. And I never commented, but I did always kind of just read the comments because I was perplexed. I think that with the wave of Kevin Samuels and with the whole gender wars thing, there just has been a lot of anti-modern women as it is, and it's like I guess once women kind of stop caring about that, you know how when you poke a person, once they stop caring about what you're talking about, they then move on to lower, to stuff that's below the belt and try to attack you that way to get your attention. And I really think that's all that is like, what are you talking about? So, so anyway, we all three actually all happen to, and this is by coincidence. I didn't even think about this when I asked the ladies to be on the show, but we all um, each have two boys. Mine are 4 years apart. How far apart are yours, Miss Davis?
My oldest son is 25. The other one turns 21 in a couple days.
Okay, so is that 4 years? Forgive me if I didn't do the math, because mine are 4 years apart. So,
Mm.
what about you, Dorian?
My boys are 5 years apart.
So, talk about coincidences. We really did not know this at all. Like, and let me tell you, that's actually the perfect gap for me because it was hard enough with a 4 year old with a newborn. I couldn't imagine no stair steppers. And shout out to the ladies that were able to do the stair stepper because I would have got stepped on, baby.
Let me tell you, not for the weak. My sister has a 9 month old and a 2 year old right now, and it's a job,
A
literally,
full time job.
for
So
real.
let's kind of talk about it a little bit. I know these men made these memes to be funny and to nitpick at modern women, but let's really talk about it. Um, were our mothers really just way stronger than us, or perhaps was the conversation just different then? You know?
If I could chime in first, I think that I want to address the second humdinger that you posted. The one I don't remember my mom asking, for breaks, yada 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 yada. First of all, your mama wouldn't have been asking you for a break because you can't give her a break. So
Hello.
it's very likely that mama most definitely asked for a break. You just wasn't in the room because you had to stay in a child's place. So it is very
Preach.
likely that mama definitely asked for help. So that's the first part, right? The Cause that annoys me, right? You of course you wouldn't hear your mama because you were a child, being in a child's place. Because that's what our mamas did back then. They let the
Mhm.
kids stay in a child's place. So that's discredited from those lanes anyway. And the whole, your grandma or you couldn't handle 11 kids, all that other stuff. You goddamn right. You are doggone right. Guess what? They Times have changed.
A lot.
Times have changed. I literally know people who had kids just so they kid can have somebody to play with. They kind of had to do stuff like that. Baby, they got internet, they got tablets. We ain't gotta have a whole nother person for you to have somebody to play with.
Oh my lord.
Times have changed. Not to mention the support that grandma and them had. Granddaddy might have had a whole nother family, but guess what? Both families were taken care of. So all I had to do was push the children out and cook the food, and that was good. But now I gotta push the children out, cook the food, clean up, go to work, change the tire, clean it. Oh no, you got me messed up, brother man. No.
Long story short, in case you missed that gospel on the mount, what I was gonna say is so many points that she just summed up really quickly. First of all, you didn't hear the conversations if it was being said. Our mom was very big on keeping children things in front of our eyes and adult
Yeah,
things away. Now with my boys, I'm a little, if you want to call it modern, whatever. I'm a little more verbal. I do express to them with also acknowledging that they are not the problem, but that this is hard. I do encourage them to hold off on parenthood as long as they possibly can until they are mature enough to handle it. I never hide my struggles from them. And I think part of the reason we thought it was so easy is because they were kind of taught
yep,
to keep that out of your children's face. If you're struggling, if this and that and the third. Now sometimes the struggles were so bad for some people, there was no hiding it. Like if your lights are constantly off, okay, you saw that. But there were other struggles that mama was able to keep out of your face because you were a child. It didn't mean
right.
they didn't exist.
Completely agree. That's
Yeah.
being a good mama.
Yeah, I feel like times are different. We have social media, all different types of elements that our kids are growing up with that our parents didn't grow up with. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be funny, but someone said to me that, okay, if I gotta be like grandma, why don't you be like granddaddy? Okay, before you before you can tell me how I need to be raising 11 kids or whatever. Women are doing things different now. We working full time, we owning businesses, we doing all types of different things that they weren't doing back then. But
Right.
also, speaking from my experience, just being a mom, I usually hear you're a strong woman, you're a strong mom. And I kind
We're
of
gonna
like
get to
that
that.
because I
We're
be
gonna get,
feeling
we're gonna
like,
get to that. We're gonna get to that for sure, for sure. I gotta hear
yo,
enough.
y'all gonna get to
You
that
got
because
it.
I'm
We're gonna get
like,
to that. So we
what
got
does strength look like to you? Because strong doesn't necessarily mean that I don't show my weakness or I don't show what is going on with me. I'm just trying to process it properly. We didn't learn how to process it properly. We trying to unlearn all this different stuff
girl,
and
girl.
reparent ourselves and all that kind of stuff. So
This generation
all
of
this talk about
women,
what our grandma used to do,
yeah.
you can keep that because our grandma ain't sitting in our shoes right now.
First of all, a lot of our grandmothers aren't even here anymore. Even if she did not tell you, her body shows you. Neither of my grandmothers lived to be 70.
Mm.
That's saying something. That's saying something. The retirement age is 65. And you mean to tell me black mothers are only living to right beyond retirement? They might have not said anything, But the lack of the grandma still being here, it definitely speaks volumes.
It says a lot. Yeah, I never met either of my grandmothers.
Oh,
So, and women kind of just woke up. No longer am I sacrificing my life, sacrificing my health, and sacrificing this and the other for the expense of someone else. Now, if I want to have 11 kids, then I'll have 11 kids, right?
I don't.
But right, but
Mhm.
no, but a lot, but and even I don't even think the women who had 11 kids then, I don't think that they wanted to have 11 kids. I just think that that was that situation with that man, and they had to conform to whatever he wanted in order to have their bills paid, in order to have food to take care of the kids and whatever the,
Hmm.
the case may be. But that's just times have just changed.
Like,
Yep.
oh, not to interrupt, but I don't know if y'all remember the Jackson 5 movie
Uh huh.
when
Uh-huh.
Karen when Katie tried to get on birth control and Joe told her no.
Yeah.
Joe told her they couldn't. It was against their religion. They were Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yep.
Either they couldn't afford it or were told they couldn't get it. Like you had like even today, birth control is covered under insurance. If you don't have insurance, how are you getting birth control?
We didn't have rights. I mean, women didn't have rights like that, like they do now. You know what I'm saying? Like
Facts. Women could not
they
open
put
their
up
own
with
bank
a lot back
accounts
then.
until 1967. My mom was
Right.
born in 1960. So what are you
Right.
talking about? Like
Mhm.
Yep.
let me okay, since you dabbled on strength, let's go ahead and get to it. One of the biggest backhanded compliments that the world has given black women is that we are strong. And I wrote down that we are the only group of women who accepted rebranded overworking as a compliment. And we ran with it. For generations, we ran with it.
I don't know if we ran with it. I think that I, I think the world ran with it. We
That
really had
too.
no choice. Just the same way as this strength that we have to accept. It's the exact same way. We are strong by default.
Okay.
Nigga, we don't want to be out here saving the world. If
Yeah.
I could sit up with my pretty nails and my pretty toes and just do pretty things all day, that's what I would do. But that ain't what life is, right? So
Right.
I think that I don't think that we embodied it was like, oh, I'm strong and I want to be strong. No, we had to tap into that strength in order to go the next day, because if we didn't tap into that strength, us and everything attached to us would just
Would
completely
fall
fall
down.
apart.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't think it ever was a matter of us. Oh, I don't know many black women. I don't know many or any black women
Mm-hmm.
who were on some. Oh, I don't need no man. We can still. I mean, and if they're saying they don't need a man, it's really because I know I can survive without one.
Or I've
You
had
know,
to survive
if
without
I
one.
had
Yeah.
to. I'm not gonna die tomorrow if I don't have a man. But would I
Yeah.
like companionship? Would I like a partner? Yes, indeed. So a lot of they think that strength is a good to see. White women, they were the ones who were excited to get their independence. They are the ones that oh, I'm strong. I can do this. They kind of took it that way. For the sisters, we have no other choice. We've been having to do this since slavery.
Yeah. Yeah. And then somewhere along the line, it became almost like a compliment. Like even in these women's obituaries, even when they finally are given some kind of celebration, somebody's gonna speak on their strength. You know, Big Mama held the family together. Big Mama was strong. So, but I think it was looked at as a compliment because what is the opposite of strength is weakness. And you don't want to be viewed as weak. So if strength is what you're gonna give me, I guess that's better than
I would
nothing,
like
I
to know
guess.
what is everybody's definition of strength. You know what I'm saying? When you telling me I'm strong, what that means. So I don't show my feelings. I don't tell you I'm hurting. I don't tell you that I'm not feeling good today, or I'm mentally, weak and I need somebody to lift me up. Is that strength? Because I really want to know what that means. Because to me,
Um,
strength truly means going through whatever you need to go through and processing it properly to get to the other side of it. Not hiding it, not acting like it's not there, all that kind of stuff like that. Because we have a lot of that in our generation now.
And we're unlearned, like Dorian said, we're unlearning a lot. I think strength is viewed as you soldier on. You know, if you're breaking down on the side of the road and you're crying, you're viewed as weak. If you're soldiering on, no matter what, that's strength. Big Mama has strength. You know, she wasn't like these modern women that need a sitter and they need a spa day and they're crying and they're whining on the internet. She just did hers in private and there was no internet.
Right. And that's the whole thing about it. It's all about perception. Despite how we want to play, it's all about perception. Because if we were to have a conversation with Big Mama probably wouldn't say that any of the stuff that she did was strength. She probably would even say that it was in her weakness that she allowed herself to even be in that position to have to endure those.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Facts.
Because, see, to me, that's one of the first pieces of strength. The first pieces of strength for me is acknowledgement.
Vulnerability.
Until
You
you
are
can,
absolutely
Amen.
right.
Come on.
until you can acknowledge it, it don't even exist for real. So that's and to me, that's the biggest part of strength. Acknowledge it so then you can fix it. So,
Agree.
like Miss Davis was saying, strength, it just depends on who the person is, what their perception of strength is, because it's different for everybody else. I look at a woman who could stay in an abusive relationship and be like, man, sister girl is strong because I'd have killed them. That's me. I look at that as strength for whatever reason. The next person might look at
I
her
would view it as
weak.
weakness. You're right. So
You know,
on the opposite end, I would think weakness because girl, pick yourself
Girl,
up.
you that desperate to have him, you can't have
It's
nobody else you want to get
75, 85,000 men in the sea. But I
I
mean,
know,
that's
right?
an iffy subject. That's an iffy
And see,
subject because
I look at it like if you telling me I'm strong, what you treat me like, people don't when you strong, people look past you. They think you
that's
can
it.
take anything. They
That's
think
it.
you cannot break. And what I'm saying is they act
Period.
like you don't have feelings. They talk to you any kind of way and all that kind of stuff like that. Strength does not mean that I can just take anything. You know what I'm saying? Strength
Right.
means I can take it, I can process it, I can get through it. It's a healthy way to be strong. This label of strength
Hold on,
is
Mimi.
not it.
Okay, your sound had went out a little bit, but
For me,
yeah, that's why when you asked earlier, what's the definition of strength to the people that want you oppressed, that is the definition of strength. How can I keep you under if I don't convince you that anything
yeah,
else is
absolutely.
negative?
Got beat, and they still had to learn. They still had to act like they ain't get beat. You still get up and work. Yes, master.
Right.
You still had to do it.
How can I keep you under if I don't, in some kind of way, make you feel good about this oppression? So, hey, woman, you're strong. You get up, you come to work every day, you take care of our kids, take care of your kids, go fix food for that husband of yours. You're a strong woman. Okay. Well, and like you said, if you've noticed with different cultures, and it's no shade to anybody, some women are allowed to be damsels in distresses. Black women never really got that courtesy. So even if you're, like you said, when people perceive you as strong, you get overlooked. Oh, you're sick? Better figure it out. Oh, somebody died? Okay, you got your 2, 3 days, but we're going to need you back at work.
Girl, don't let me leave this room. I need because you ain't lying.
yeah.
Because you can take it. Like, and then the minute that you speak up for yourself in any kind of form or fashion, because you are perceived as strong, it's immediately interpreted as aggressive. But when, go ahead, Dorian.
So in considering and in thinking and just compartmentalizing all of those things, how do we get to the conversation of where we are today, to where you know when a woman says, "Oh, I need a break," she's literally saying, "Hey, I'm strong. I've been holding it down together, and I just need help. I just need a breather." How do we get from, "Oh, it's bad when you're strong," to where it's bad just taking on all of these things and not verbalizing what you need, to now you're being criticized if you say, "Dang, I need a day." It's like, damn, if you
Damned if you don't. You're right. And like we were saying earlier before the camera started rolling, words like mental health, words like overstimulation, depression, postpartum depression, those are very new conversations. So when you say that your grandma didn't ask for stuff, the word stimulation and mental health was not a part of your grandmother's vocabulary.
at
When nobody
all.
talking about therapy and none of that in the 60s and 70s, we was just 100 plus shy of slavery. What is
If
mental
that.
health? Yeah, like what is mental health? Like we just started talking about that, and seriously, I remember the first time I went to a therapist, and I this was 2019, and this is Shreveport, mind you, and I would kind of talk about it at work a little bit, and there still were people that kind of when you say therapy, that was only like 7 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Now it's not so taboo. But when we first had children, who did you know in therapy other than couples? There was marriage counseling, but what regular person just went to therapy? Nobody. So you couldn't complain to the world about how hard motherhood is, or you would be called weak, or you would be called bitter. And
Hmm.
you couldn't talk to a therapist because A, nobody was talking to therapists, or B, you couldn't afford to talk to a
Right.
therapist. So what did you have to do but soldier on?
That's all you could do is soldier on. But I appreciate where Black women are today. I
Yes,
appreciate that we're as educated as we are, because you ain't gonna play on our top, and you ain't gonna play on our emotions like y'all used to. You
love it.
know, I love the fact that we're coming to a place and we're understanding that I can be nothing for you until I'm everything for me. And people feel
Hmm.
like that's selfish, but no, that's actually me looking out for the village in the best way. I can't pour from an empty cup.
Amen. Amen.
and
For real, for
and you
real.
know, and I'm just, and I looked at my mom, and I looked at my sister, and and just being completely transparent, when I became when I became a mom, there was a lot of my mom and I, we had to grow from being mother daughter from to being mother mother. And what I mean by that is my mama was very, my mama old school, and I thank God I have an old school mom, but she was very judgmental when it came to my parenting.
Mm,
And what I love about my mother, and what I love about what she taught me growing up, was she always taught me to never stem away from those tough conversations. Don't
mm,
matter if you like it or not, you got to have those tough conversations. And I had to have a conversation with her, and I had to let her know, because I parent differently from you does not mean that I'm a less parent than you. I
yeah.
parent different than you. You know, my mom was the parent who chose to, she sacrificed her life for her three girls. She didn't go back to school and get her degree until we were out, until everybody was out of high school. You know,
Mm,
everybody was my, she didn't do that. My mom, she didn't date. She didn't do any of that. Her life was
whew.
devoted to us. She didn't do nothing but her children, work, and church. That's good for you, baby girl. That's not the life for me. You
Amen.
know, and because she sacrificed and did what she did, she felt like all mamas should do that. Well, no, that's
Oh,
not, that's, it's not a universal rule, but we were able to grow through that, and she understood that, Dorian as a person decides to do this. And it's so crazy because, like, my mom didn't go to concerts or do any of that. So as I became an adult and was able, and now I can take her to concerts, and we're going to events and doing all this other stuff, it's like she's living this second life, because she didn't do any of that stuff because she was focused on being a mama.
yeah.
But she also had nobody but her. So I have me, I have my son's fathers, I have my sister, I have a village. My mama was the village. So we were
Yeah.
able to understand why there was some difference and work through it. But times have just changed. Times have
Yeah.
changed indeed.
And I'd like to say also that you develop a lot of grace for your parents when you become a parent.
Oh
There
yeah.
there is no manual. There definitely wasn't one in no 80s and late 70s and 80s. So
Well, no Google.
what it even now, the only book I had guiding me into parenthood was What to Expect When Expecting. That was it. Like, and that
And
was
that
15
didn't even
years
prepare.
ago. Like there is no manual. So it gives you a lot of grace when you become a mother for your mother because this ain't no easy job. And like we said, a lot of the tools that were there aren't there. So there, but I want to chime in on what you said. And I think it's unintentionally that a lot of the older black folks kind of want this current generation, I guess we're Gen X, not necessarily to go to through the struggles they went through, but if you don't do it the way I did it, there's something wrong with it.
Right. That's
And
a
where
black. I'm sorry,
go
but
ahead.
that's a black people stigma that we need to unlearn. And
Yes.
that was one of the things that I was so excited. And I said that I was going to do a podcast to kind of talk about that and let mothers know that it's okay for your daughter to be right.
Look,
Like,
Kevin say he want to
Oh
join in.
Lord. I had to
Kevin
sing
say
on
he
that
want
one.
to join in, girl. But
Kevin,
what?
women only, Kevin. Dang. Do you identify as a woman? No. Okay, next podcast.
Look, he like, yeah, I need to get up in here.
yes.
Girl. It's so true because with even with my sons right now, we're kind of in a tight little spot because JJ started high school and I would be dang on if he got all these gifts and talents and I couldn't get him into a school where he could flourish. So he in a private school. And my gifts weren't really tended to. You know, I could write, I could sew, I could paint, I could do all these things, but it was what it was. I think our parents were more so about if you had a son, don't let him go to jail, get him out of high school. And if you had a daughter, don't let her get pregnant. And if she do, get her out of high school. And after that, okay. But like I'm planning ahead right now. I want every opportunity I can
Oh my
afford these
God.
boys. Everything. If it's in my power to do it, I want you to be better than me.
Yes.
Can
Yes.
I answer Mr. Kevin's question down here?
So
He
men
said
don't have a
men
voice.
don't have a voice now.
Not you.
Look,
All lives mattering our podcast.
look, I'm gonna just say this. When men start having babies, then he can have a voice about it.
Cause men are who wrote them little memes we showed earlier. Y'all didn't say what y'all got to say.
I'm
Period, Pooh. We have a time for you, sir. We got a question and answer session at the end, but we talking right now. Come on, lady.
Right. So it's like it's
It's a
hard
good sport though.
trying to make sure that they jump off the porch with tools that I'm still getting as a 30-year-old. I'm just
Yeah.
getting credit together at 30.
Yes. Yes.
And I gotta
But
make sure when
And
you
I do believe the generational issue is like
hmm
a double-edged sword. I was having a conversation with someone else about this before. The older generation want the younger generation to do what they did, but also the younger generation want to get rid of everything that the older generation has brought to the table. I feel like we still need some of the traditional
yes,
things to
okay.
pour into ourselves and our kids because it works. But things have changed, so we got to change how we do it.
With the
It's like
things,
just
yeah.
like having a cell phone. You know, phones have changed. First, you got the landline. Now we on cell phones, and the cell phones was this big at one point, looked like a walkie-talkie. It's changed so much, but it's still a phone. We still use it for the same thing, but it's so many different things. So I look at that as life. We have to change
Change with the
what
times,
we
yep.
have, but also we can still use some of the roots. What's up?
yeah. I really really like that. I used to be my thing was I ain't deal with older women. I ain't deal with older women because they was nasty, they was mean, they was catty, and they wasn't trying to show no wisdom. It was just always negativity.
Girl.
But
Girl.
I ended up running into this group of ladies who's probably about 15, 17 years older than me. And they just really embraced me. And this woman, she told me, she was like, Mama Angela, she was like, Dorian, I love everything that you're doing. It's
Your
like
mic,
you
Dorian.
take the, can y'all hear me now?
No, can't hear you.
I don't know what's happening. Can you
Can't
hear
hear
me?
you. Okay, got you. I hear you.
Okay, I don't know what happened. But she was just basically saying that what it is expansion. The older generation got to understand that it's not removal, it's expansion. So we're not
Yes.
trying to take what you're doing, we're not trying to remove what you're doing. We only want to expand it. But how can you expand it? You got to know where it started, you got to know
True.
how it worked, you got to know what it was in order to be able to progress or do anything differently. So that's kind of what we started doing with this older lady, younger lady generation or formation that we're trying to create is just look at it as expansion. How
I
can I
love
take
that.
what you did and what you've already done, and how can I put my flair on it and make it better? And I'm really thankful for them because I real deal did not deal with older ladies because it was toxic. It was
Yeah.
so very toxic because they could be very, very mean and very, very belittling, and then make you feel guilty for disrespecting them when you grown too.
Yeah.
So it was like narcissistic times 12. And it's like,
Child.
hold on, mama. Let me just go on around because
Don't
I don't want to
mama.
cut my blessings short because I'm about to give you a piece of my mind. But my pastor also helped me realize that, some people only identify with whatever that status is. So if you're a younger black woman going into a job and it's older black women there, well, that older black woman, all she got is that job. All she done had for the last 20 years with that
This
job. And that's
this
all
my
that's
35-year-old right here.
hey.
That's my son,
Hey
my
Monte.
oldest son right here.
And look, my oldest son just came in here to get his food.
Mine know not to come. I told him I'm doing a podcast. Don't come in here. But you know what, Dorian? I really want to chime on that because what you're saying is absolutely true. The disconnect between the generations that if that gap was closed would be so much beneficial, towards the community.
Yes.
The older ladies are still hurting.
Yeah.
They still they never got they the reason that they're kind of upset and they might not say
because
it
they
is because the
we
younger
doing what
ladies are
they
getting the
doing.
freedom they did not.
Yep.
And I want to chime in and say the language wasn't there. And could your grandmother even safely say this is hard for
I'm
me and
gonna
I'm
say
and
she
I'm
couldn't
done or
express her
whatever?
feelings the way she wasn't taught how to.
Hold on, Mimi, you might.
And guess what? It ain't these men, and I was intending to say this earlier, but it's not the men who made these memes talking about these modern day mothers. It ain't the men. It's these older ladies who are upset at the fact that we're asking for the stuff that they couldn't
And
ask
they
for.
That they
just
could
put it
not
on the
ask
they just
for.
put
So
it on
I
social
I
media.
I
They
know
had
that
the
we be wanting to
conversation.
go in on the men, but I don't think this was the brothers. I
When
don't think
I
it
when
was
I
the
saw
brothers.
the
But
when I
but
saw the
I
memes,
do
it was
feel like
men.
Oh, it was
I
me.
do
Okay.
feel like you can't.
But who do you think raised these men? These older ladies that gave up their lives to practically
Mhm.
be a wife to these grown men. Like it's a cycle that needed to stop anyway. So glad you brought it up, sir. With your little meme while you was trying to be funny. But let's talk about it. Have you ever asked your mom? Have you ever had a real conversation with your mama? Did you really like being a mom? Were there ever times that it was hard for you and you didn't get no help? Most of us have never even talked to our mama on that real of a level. I know I haven't.
And if you're a parent, and even if you had even if you had that conversation with your mom and your mom told you no, as a parent you should know your mama lying and she just trying to spare you
Try
as a child,
big facts.
because
Just
that's just
you say
grown up
everything.
problem. I mean, if you are an adult and you doing everything right, life is gonna life your ass. If you're doing
Facts.
everything right, life is going to throw you. So it's hard. I don't care how perfect everything is.
Right.
Every day is not going to be good. So for anyone to assume that their parent or any parent doesn't have any bad days, that's just ignorant, and that's just
Oh, my mom never asked for no break. You knew moms or something else. Yeah, we're more vocal. We have the language is there now. We can say I'm overstimulated. We can say I have postpartum depression. Your grandmother could not. Your grandmother couldn't even open her own bank account. So there's that. But
Yeah.
something
I don't necessarily think men shouldn't have an opinion, but I do sometimes feel like certain things a man wouldn't understand when it comes to being a mother. Our bodies go through different things when naturally anyway, and then when we have kids, our body have to adjust. Sometimes it's not about the
whew,
physical part. Sometimes it's mental. You know
that's
what I'm
it.
saying? And if you don't heal from those moments, you carry that through life. You know what I'm
yes.
saying? Because I have two sons, but I've been through some things when it came to being a parent to them, birthing them. You know what I'm saying? When you having a baby, it's a scary thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's
It's
life
a
or death,
scary
it's the
thing.
literally.
closest it's the closest a woman ever comes to death.
It's
When I
life or
was
death,
going
Yes.
into the
literally.
hospital having my oldest son, this old woman was like, "Ooh, baby, death gonna pass you over 17 times." What?
Thanks for the
Yeah.
Scared the
encouragement,
hell out of me, lady.
Meemaw.
Right.
Let me tell you, 'cause my mama was in the room with me when I was having him, and they had to do a C-section. My mama told me she ain't never doing it again because they cut me open and the epidural wore off right in the middle. I could feel everything.
Oh, heck no. Put that baby back in
I
there.
could not talk. I just looked over her, tears running down my eyes, and my mom was like, "What's wrong?" I said, "I can feel it. I can feel it." So they just had to put me to sleep. She's like, "Oh man, no ma'am, I'm not doing that no more. Y'all gonna take me out."
That's real. And if you look at the numbers, black women die more
Yeah.
in childbirth than any other race of women, and most of us are Medicaid recipients. And this is from someone who had Medicaid with both children. The treatment is different. The treatment is very
Hmm.
different. There's no one there to advocate for you. And if you speak up, because with my second one, I was getting my epidural. I have Harrington rods in my back, and the man took nearly an hour giving me an epidural, and it was the most painful thing. I had to be wheeled around after I gave birth because he was messing it up so bad. And when I would say anything, he would throw it. Like my sister Carmen was there holding me in the front, and so was another nurse. And I'm a big lady, and of course I'm presumed to be strong, but I am in pain, and I'm like, can we call somebody to help? He threw the instruments down and said, well, if you want to get somebody else to do it. Now, mind you, I'm 10 centimeters dilated and you trying to give me an epidural. It's all kinds of pain. But because of his ego and frustration, he throws the instruments down. And it's like, if you want to get somebody else to do it, by all means, be my guest. This
And
is
let me
how I was treated while giving
But
birth.
let me tell you a major reason why they handle us like that. And I am not that person at all. I'm not a blamer at all.
Hmm.
But a lot and when it comes to the medical profession and a lot of other different professions, they play with black women because there's no male presence. They play with us because there is no male presence. It amazes me how when I was pregnant with my son, his dad wasn't able to go to a doctor's appointment, but my best friend is a guy. So
Yeah.
my best friend, my brother, would go to an appointment with me. And it's crazy how I would see the difference in how I was treated with
Mm.
a male presence opposed to when it was just me, myself, or if it was with me and my sister or my mom or something like that. So any man that's listening, and I'm always, and that's one of the reasons why I feel invincible. I don't feel invincible, but that's why I feel like I can do whatever I want to do or whatever I can do. I feel like whatever I put my mind to do, I can do because I have the support behind me.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just my mom and them. I got a whole clique of black men, real strong black men that's gonna step behind me. You gotta go. You gotta get through by 7 people before you get to me because I have that village. So I
Right.
couldn't imagine not having that at all. So I think that's the real barrier when it comes to like, oh, black men wrong, black women wrong. Black women ain't protected. And a lot of races, they don't respect us, black women, because they know that, oh, it's gonna be just another black bitch come behind. I'm just slap her. What can a woman do to me? But they fear
Yeah.
and respect black men. So black men, y'all gotta show up more. Even if it ain't your lady. Like I said, if I got anything going, I'm calling my brother. I'm calling my homeboy. They're gonna
Yeah.
pull right up. I'm gonna have a male presence because they respect that so much. So just pulling up and being there, they ain't gotta say nothing, but watch it be a total different course.
You know, you're
Mm.
absolutely right. My baby daddy actually did not get there until right before delivery, so he missed that entire ordeal. And when I told him about it, he was like, "They better be glad I wasn't up here."
Hmm.
And I knew he wasn't lying because he played about a lot of things, but he really isn't that. He wouldn't have stood by idly. There's not much me and my sister could do. Like my sister voice is like this. Kermit's a little mouse, and I'm pooched over about to die. So you're right. We really were just sitting ducks. What could we do? And the minute I said anything, I didn't even cuss the man out. I was like, I was crying. I was like, is there any chance we can get somebody else to help us? And as soon as I said something, he just threw the stuff that this is the head anesthesiologist.
Yes,
So
it's because how dare you, little black girl, tell me anything,
I'm
and I'm
Medicaid,
the
no less,
head of
girl.
such and
Bitch,
such.
that ain't me.
It's in the
I
third.
don't know. I
You talking
don't know
about
how I would have reacted to that. I'm sorry. I don't know.
okay, and let's not even talk about Dr. Alexander. He delivered my first baby. We ain't even go
Wait
there.
a minute
I know
now.
you and your sister loved him, but I had a
I
horrible
love Dr.
experience.
Alexander.
I had a horrible experience, and many other women did too. So he was the one that okay. After him, I'm not having any other males deliver my kids, but all the women, all of the everybody at Willis Knighton, I mean Krista Shumpert, was women except that head anesthesiologist. So for me, if I ever do birth again, I need black female as much as possible from the rooter to the tutor. So the doctor I have now with my insurance through my job, of course, that entire staff is black women. But with Medicaid, you have to get what you can.
Yep. Which is one of the
Yeah.
reasons why they want to keep us. Why they keep that. I won't say why they keep that because nobody put a gun to our heads and make us do anything, right? But
Right.
that's one of the reasons why it's beneficial for us to keep that crutch under our arm. We don't understand that it ain't nothing free, baby. We think that food stamps free. We think that Medicaid free. We think that we're just getting over. No, you get treated like what you are. You get the poorest medical assistance when the government is paying for your medical. You don't really have a lot of say. And I know
Right.
that shouldn't be. I know it's horrible. That's not the way that it should be, but that's what it is.
Unfortunately, yes.
It's crazy because I literally just went to the dentist the other day Got Blue Cross Blue Shield. Oh, they roll out they rolling out the map. Oh, would you like an electric toothbrush? Would you like some sparkling water? Would you like this? Would you like that? But it just made me go back in my mind when I had to go to the dentist office for a week. And the reason, I mean, on Medicaid, and the reason why I had to go back to this dentist is because the Medicaid dentist broke my doggone tooth off. So it's
Lord.
just like, it's crazy how we're so blinded at the assistance that we don't realize the long term damage that we're really doing on
Yeah.
ourselves as well as our families and the kids and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
all back to what we was talking about, I love the fact that women are saying, I need a break. I done had
Yes.
these kids 355 days this year. I need 5 days and then I get them for the other
Then
five.
I get them, yeah. And
You know,
before, but to attest to what you're saying, a lot of people don't like. I think they're Gen X. I don't know what the new ones are. Gen X, some. But I actually love these women. I love them. I love the new generation. They're coming out of high school with businesses. They not coming out of high school looking for no husband. They got businesses. They got LLCs. They know about credit. They holding off on kids. They don't want to have kids until they're in their late 20s and 30s. Like they're being very vocal about being selfish and it being okay. And even if the language wasn't there, they're creating the language. This is the modern women that these people don't like, because how dare you come from up under this oppression and try to be about yourself?
right?
You're supposed to be about me. You're supposed to be about having children. You're supposed to be about this. And I love these women. And there's so many options that weren't there before and things I have had to unlearn because I thought you just, it was what it was. And not that I coast, everybody do what you need to do. But when I speak to younger ladies, because I don't want to be that auntie that doesn't chime into the younger generation. So when I talk to
Mhm.
them, I keep it real. Hold off on kids as long as you can. Build you a life
God,
you love and that you actually enjoy. If you don't enjoy your life, there's no point in bringing
mhm,
someone else into this world. Build a
yep.
life you love, and then once you look around and you love your life, then you can worry about somebody to share it with. And until then, don't be thinking about no Negro. Get your credit up, see the world, live your life. You only your 20s once. No one was there telling us that. Not really. Not
Yeah, we were
really.
we were in such survival mode.
Yes.
Or our people were in such survival mode. We could think about going on vacation because we didn't know how we was gonna pay the light bill. You know what I'm saying, that month. So I'm just, like you said, I'm excited. That's the message that I am. Every young woman that I come in contact with, because literally I blinked my eyes and I was 40. Yesterday I
Girl.
was just 20. I
Yes.
blinked my eyes and rubbed it, and 20 years passed. I don't know what happened. I don't know where time went, but you can't get it back.
You
You
cannot.
cannot get it back. So it's very, very important for us to love self first. Love is an inward, outward type action. People think that it's
Girl.
just that. But I used to be that person. I used to love everybody else until I was forced to put the mirror in front of my face to see, well, why did I want everybody else to be happy? And I ain't even doing what I need to do to make myself happy.
Hello.
I was
Hello.
literally making other people's dreams come true because I felt like my time had passed. But if I would just do the same work for me that I was helping other people do, then hell, now we all on. We all eating. So
Facts, facts.
that's
And I
just what.
love that. That new language, that wasn't like, if I think about it, I don't even, I mean, our grandma, because Miss Davis is my cousin, she did ceramic art and stuff like that. But outside of that, I don't know what any of my elders did. What were y'all good at? What were your dreams and goals? We have no idea because their life surrounded being, being big mama for us. So
Yep.
it's hard being a multi-talented girly. When I first got pregnant, I remember I had a friend that said, "Don't you stop with your gifts because you finna have this baby." And thank goodness I had her, because the rest of the world was saying something completely different. You need to get a real job. You need to get serious. That boy ain't here. He didn't say he ain't finna help you. Better figure it out. So you can lose yourself in motherhood. And once upon a time, that was okay. In fact, it was expected.
I don't know why God put that on the inside of me, but damn it, I was determined. I was determined not to lose Dorian in being a mother, not to lose Dorian in being, even in relationship with guys. Like, I've tried to just be head out, sold out, whatever. I've always reserved a piece of me, and it
Hmm.
made me feel selfish for a while. But as I went through my self healing journey, that's the only thing that's preserved me.
Yeah.
The only thing that's preserved me is me, the love, the protection, the respect, the whatever that I've had for me. That's the reason why I'm able to persevere, because I've always taken that time for Dorian. When I feel it, I know when I need to adjust. I know with who. But because I've always protected me, even in the bad times, is why I'm
Yeah.
always able to persevere. So it. I
That's
don't
what's
know
up.
why we have such a. And I don't. Well, I guess I understand why, because it's hard to do the self work. It's easier for people to just focus on everybody else instead of doing the self work.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that the newer generations, the
It's
newer
changing the
moms,
dialogue. Yeah.
yeah. But I do want to say this, but as we're praising this new generation for coming into self-love and for saying I need a break and all that other stuff, we got to make sure that it's warranted. You can't your grandma can't raise your child 6 days out of a week, and then you get your child on that 7th day, and 2 hours until you get your child, you say you want a break.
Uh-uh.
So I gotta go. We gotta really back
Okay.
in,
Well,
because
you know what?
some of these,
Yeah.
at the same token, some of these new mamas ain't mamas.
But
So
honestly, that was in the 80s and 90s too. How many of us were raised by
Yeah,
aunts that were
you right about that now.
let's be real. This conversation ain't for them women. We talking about the women that step them. We not even finna acknowledge
we,
them. We
we,
know they
we just gotta
exist.
I mean, we gotta make it be known,
Oh, okay. Well,
because
for
there are
y'all that were
some out there.
misunderstanding, yeah, for
There
y'all
are
that
some out there.
they exist, but we not no no shade because you're already getting the break, sis. We're not talking to you.
Right. You
We're
are the
not
break.
talking to you. You are
You
You
you are
are
getting
the
there,
all
break.
of
sis.
the break.
You are the break.
And you know what? And you know what? Even those moms, I can't fault you because it's big to admit as a woman that hey, I cannot give this child the best I possibly. I don't have much to give them. Here, grandma,
Right.
you raise them. Even that takes a certain amount of, I hate to use the word, but strength.
Yeah.
Because some of us that kept kids and went through all these struggles, and I'm maybe guilty of it too. I just always felt like it's my responsibility. This is my bed. It was never said to me, but it was understood. I made this bed, lie in it.
Right.
So whatever it looks
Yep.
like, I'm gonna have my
As the
kids
rest of us.
point blank, period. You
Six,
know.
16 years old. Okay, I was 16 years old, and I had to go ahead and just get with it.
And get
I
grown
go to
real quick.
school, finish school, and be a mom.
Mhm.
But let
Hmm.
them tell it because we asking for it. Like I guess after a while, because I am a single mama. I'm not like a single no single, and it's been this for 15 years. And after that long of having kids all the time, you just get used to it. I don't. Even, I
Mhm.
mean, at first when I really really needed a break, I wasn't getting a break. So after a while, you just kind of get used to not getting it, and it becomes part of your life. And like even when they now people want to get them because they big, but
That's
and
how it
then
usually goes.
when I had a screaming newborn and I had calluses across my hand from carrying the little car seat and a 4-year old trying to learn his colors, nobody wanted to really just get them like that then,
Mm-mm.
you know. And that was 11 years ago. But now, are people, and they call them out. They call out the grandmas. They call out. They will get on the internet and call you out. We
You
didn't.
you
We
know
didn't do
something else
that.
something else that just hit my mind. The only reason why this is an issue is because of the fact that black women are doing it. Because I found out
Ooh.
I lived in New Orleans some years ago, and I worked at a Presbyterian day school. I lived in Baton Rouge, and I worked at the Presbyterian day school on LSU's campus, and I was blown away at the amount. We had a thing called Mother's Day Out.
Hmm.
Mother's Day Out was specifically a time for stay at home moms to come drop their kids off for them to get a break.
Isn't that something?
For them to
Yeah.
get a break. And it's only an issue because black women are saying, because that's what a lot of other cultures they do. And that's one of the things I love about my mom being a single mom. She understood that she ain't have no help, so she always made sure. So like my mom would always give me 1 weekend a month. She would get my
Oh.
boys 1 weekend a month, let me have my time, and I totally appreciate her for that. Even to this day, although they grown, my baby boy 13, she be like, you need your weekend? Like, no, ma, I ain't got nothing planned. We good.
Oh.
But just to know, to be able to have that breather. But that's what other people, other cultures, that's what they do. They go to Meemaw and Papa's house, and mama is wine drunk.
Or they have nannies.
Or they had let's talk about the nannies that was at the day.
Let's talk about it.
Listen, I was a nanny in Baton Rouge for like 3 months, and I made about 18 grand in 3 months from being a nanny. From
Mm,
driving little spoiled, entitled white kids around to the park, only working about 4 hours a day because their moms needed time.
mm. And they were
So this
allowed the time. That's what's
allowed
crazy
the
is they
time.
were allowed
Pay
it.
pay good money for the time. Good money for the time.
That's
So
good money. It
again,
is.
this is a issue because it's black women saying
I
I need a
completely
break.
agree. I completely
But
agree.
the others have been doing it for quite some time, and you know, listen, tell your people you need a break. That's one of the things that I give my friends that are mothers around me. I don't do it with little kids. I ain't gonna lie. If your child is under 8, they can't come to T Dorian house
Oh
because I ain't gonna do
wow.
nothing to make them fun, and I'm gonna go in my room. But
Damn.
they ain't bothering you though. But but to just know that you have that break, it's a lot of fun. It's just a breather, and we need that. So stop talking about a woman because she say she need a break, because what's gonna happen is if she don't get that break and she slap that kid, now that's a whole nother can of worms. But the woman has been begging for help. She's been begging for help, and you want to get on social media and
And
talk
make
about women who
news,
are
yeah.
asking for help. But then when she smacked the child or drowned the child in the tub, now you're dragging them.
Or kill herself. These are
Damn
all
if you do,
very
damn if you don't, black woman. So love you, black woman, because you gonna be damn if you do and damn if you don't. If you
I
ask for
agree.
help, they gonna tear you apart. If you
If
don't
you
ask
don't
for help,
ask for help,
they gonna tear you apart. So love you, black woman. Love
I
you,
agree.
cause
And let
they
me chime in right quick because I love that, but okay, the safe space for it. Like you said, the other cultures have been doing this for quite a while because the safe space is there. We gotta, as a community, this isn't just the women, we gotta make it safe. Well, some of them are, like I said, the newer generation, they not giving a fuck, and that's why I love them. They look, I said what I said, come get these kids.
right.
Like, but let's normalize that. Let's make it normal. Don't get on here and make a stupid meme, because honestly, you could have just gave your mama a shout out for being a great mom and kept it moving.
That's
Why
it.
even bring modern mothers into this? Because
Yep.
because when I see it shared 1.7K times, that's when that type of stuff becomes a problem, because we're trying to change the narrative and you're working against us with
Uh-huh.
stuff like that, trying to be cute on the internet.
Because you don't realize that, think about it. Mom can't go use the bathroom without the kids knocking at the door. Mama, mama, mama. You can't go take a bath. You can't eat. You can't, you can't even think without,
You
you
have to
can't
turn
think.
down jobs. You have to if you
Yeah,
can't feel parenthood, I often say if you cannot feel it in your day-to-day life, if in the decisions you make you don't have to consider your children, you're either not doing it
Okay.
hard
Because I
enough.
had to do haircuts, meetings, sports. I was teen mom. I had to do everything.
You're either not doing it hard enough or you a part-time parent. Because there's no way you are a full-time parent and you don't have to
Hmm.
consider your children's schedules when you pick a job, pick where you live. Even right now, because Jamil is in private school in Fort Worth, we cannot move from here until he's done with school. Now the other parent doesn't have to consider that. He can do what he want to do. So until you every decision you make gotta revert
Now,
back to
can
your
we?
children, just stay out the
Do you
conversation.
want to touch on that?
Yeah. No, that's a
'Cause,
different conversation for a
baby,
different day.
that's gonna be a whole nother discussion.
That's
I'm
another
gonna just say
discussion.
I have never experienced any men in my life that had to get up and do all this stuff for their kids in my life. I know they exist, so big ups to them.
Big ups to
But
you,
I've
Dad. Yeah.
never experienced that.
me
It's
either.
real. It's real. Like get the kids weekend dad. I ain't never even had that, to be honest. Like even when I lived in Shreveport, they again 24/7. I just got used to it. So break, I mean,
Mhm.
okay, but they my kids, so it is what I like them. We have fun around each other.
She
But
said,
like But like, oh hush, Kevin,
Yeah,
Lord,
it ain't to bash, it ain't to bash nobody. It's just speaking
right?
our reality, right? You know what
I
I'm saying?
agree.
So,
I agree.
I mean,
again, it all goes back to say, so if a woman is asking for a break, if she is asking for some help, especially if you a baby daddy who ain't helping, brother man, just either stay quiet or do some help. That's all I want us to do. Stay quiet or offer help.
I know some
I
great daddies
Don't
completely
out there.
agree. I
don't
completely agree.
post, don't do nothing else. Just shut up or offer some help. Because
Agree.
then if you do anything else, you're a part of the
Part of the
problem.
problem. Agree. And women that are, because I saw some women, depict, they got to let it be known, well, I'm not, I have, girl, you're not helping. Here's the thing. If you're blessed with a village, if you're blessed with a man, because remember, single mothers who are married is a real thing too. I didn't always believe that, but we'll tap on
Oh
that in a
yeah,
minute.
And let me tell
yeah.
you, I
If you
got to
are
be
blessed,
I can't be with nobody and be alone because I'm gonna be alone. That's just
oh, we gonna talk about it in a minute, but
Yeah.
if you are blessed with a village, with a whatever, where you don't have, but you can't relate, that's okay. But be quiet while the women who don't have what you have are speaking.
right.
Don't counteract them with, well, I got, that's fantastic. I
Okay, you
actually
got
wish
it.
that
That
on
means you
every
don't
woman.
understand where I'm coming from, do you?
Exactly. So this conversation is not for you. Let's stop centering ourselves at places where it has nothing to do with this.
And you know what? I had to learn that. I had to learn that because I'm a experienced person, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like if I've done it, then I can speak to it. So I had to learn that some stuff, if I haven't done it, you can't, because you would think in your mind like, oh, it ain't that bad. But then you have to ask yourself, well, have I experienced that? If I
Facts.
ain't
That's what
experienced
you
it, how the
always
hell am I
talk
gonna say
about.
it ain't that bad? So yeah, I definitely had to learn that, and I learned that actually from a whole baby mama baby daddy situation.
Yeah.
My mom had her first child at 16. My sister had her first child at 16. My best friend had her first child at 16. So once I made it to 18 and I didn't have a kid, I was better than them, right? So
Mm.
once I made it to 18 and didn't have a kid, I was better than them. And then when I made it to 20, oh, I'm out of my teens and I didn't have a kid. I was only better, but not only was I better, that'll never happen to me. I'm better
Mm.
and that'll never happen to me. And what you think happened when I turned 21? The exact
Like
same
Brandy
thing.
say, never say never,
Never
girl.
say never. And so, I judged. I looked and say, oh, because that happened to me, that don't mean it's gonna happen to you. It don't mean it's gonna happen to me. But until you get into that situation,
Yeah,
so yeah, experience is it humbles us a lot of the time.
it
So
does.
like you
And you
said, we
think
should
it
just
would
shut up.
never be you. Like my parents were married, and my last name Evans, my daddy last name Evans. So this was a eye opener for me when I became a single mother, because this was like some shit off television. You mean in real life, people have kids and just don't do what? How did I get here? My parents are married. Like I go to church. I'm a good woman. How did this happen to me? It's a real wake up call that no matter what you come from or what you feel, how holy you think you are, any of that, baby, it can be you.
Yeah,
I was on the
definitely.
praise dance team and everything. How did this happen
Come
to
on,
me?
right? You better
Nah,
talk
And
about
he
it.
and his daddy was a preacher.
Yeah,
Still got a church in Shreveport right now. And I was like, this type of dude,
yeah.
good Lord.
The Lord, the Lord.
What has happened here? Like, this is not on the plan at all. So it does humble you a lot. And so when people come to me like with issues and they want to talk about it, especially if it's like something I've never experienced, I'll say, now look here, this is only my opinion on what I might do if I were in your position, but I really do not know. Like when my married friends want to talk about, look, I've never been married, so this is only what I think. Because at the end of the day, you gotta live with the choices. But
mhm.
yeah, girl, that what Mimi mentioned, that's a whole nother topic for another day. We just gonna stick to
Look, I don't want no part of that conversation.
and they don't want no parts either. You ain't finna get
Look,
you ain't finna get
it's
no
gonna
hate
be a
mail sent
whole
to me.
uproar.
Them comments gonna be on fire if
But
we
see,
mention
just
if we
like
talk
you
about baby
said,
daddies.
you can't talk about what you ain't experienced. So if you not that baby daddy that we talking about, you know what I'm saying? Because I had to raise both of my sons by myself. You know what I'm saying? So
It exists. And I think sometimes men can get collectively offended They just heard men, they just heard baby daddies, and they get triggered.
Yeah.
But you know who you are. I ain't gonna
Hmm.
no names. If you know you're a good dad, you know we're not talking about you. But those not so great dads do exist, and they are part of the problem.
But women, we also could try a little bit better in choosing our words. I'm trying to put in my mind the importance of words and how words are important. So instead of saying all baby daddies ain't shit, we should say many or most
Right.
or
Agree.
some,
Agree.
because we don't want. And I had
I'll
to
say
think
all
about
the
that
ones
when
I
we
can
talk
mind.
about black women and saying all black women angry or all black women. Now, nigga, that you might run across a few, and they might have, it might be a bad day, but all of us are not bad. Many
Mm-hmm.
of us may have attitudes.
Yeah.
Some of us
And I
may
always
not be
start with some
friendly.
attitude.
But words are right. Words
Right.
are important. So
Right.
but it all boils down to exactly what you're saying. If it don't, the shoe don't fit, then don't
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 wear
wear
it.
it.
You know.
But
Um,
words are very very important. We need to get in the habit of saying some of you niggas ain't shit.
so with that being said, now that we are the aunties and the TTs, what can we give as advice to these younger women and to the ones that already have crossed over into motherhood and they're in their early 20s? What can we say to them to keep the growth happening and continuing instead of that disconnect like you said earlier that we kind of had with older women?
I my phone might die in just a second, so I'm gonna hop on it real quick. I just charged it up, but put it on a charger. But I would say to the younger generation of mothers, stay true to you. Stay true to you. Because like I said earlier, you can't truly love your kids or anyone else if you don't love you properly. And loving you properly will definitely make you a better mother,
Yes.
because it is so hard. It's unfair for a child to have to live in a house with a depressed parent, because what happens is we end up, if even if we take care of our kids in the best way and we don't abuse them or anything of that sort, that energy, that depressed energy, that sad energy, that goes off on kids, right?
Yeah.
And they can feel it. They can definitely feel it. So love you, do the work for you for them. That's the
Facts.
best thing that you can
Yep.
do. And
Facts.
be true to you. When you are true to you, for real, when you need a break. If you need a break. So therefore the people around you won't have a problem with giving that, because they know you. They know you've done the work and all that other good jazz. So stay true to you. Do the work for you, and more importantly, I'm a God girl, so more than importantly, always stick and stay close to God, because without Him, your girl be out here rough. But yeah, love you and stick and stay with God, and I think that's the and talk to your kids. Be transparent with
Facts.
your kids.
Facts.
Talk to your kids. And as a girl mom, I have a boy mom. I mean, I'm a boy mom. And this last piece of advice for mothers of boys: keep your boys around positive men. Just because you are a single mom, just because your mom or their fathers might not be involved, put them around your uncle or brother-in-law or someone, because as much as we love our kids and we can raise them to be amazing human beings, we really can't raise them to be amazing men, because we don't know what it is to take to be a man. That's how I feel about it. So put them
Hmm.
around other men who you trust. Black
Yep.
boys, they don't have rites of passage, so they have to become grown and then find out how to become a man, and that's a disadvantage that they have off
True.
the dump, right? So we shouldn't make them grow up to find out what it's like to be a man, but have them around men that can show them the way as they're growing up.
Facts. Facts. Big facts. Miss Davis, what do you think?
First of all, as far as she spoke on the ones that have people around them. If you don't have anybody, just make sure you find something that pours into you,
Yeah.
because to be able to give your kids whatever they need, you need to be able to be poured into. So I don't know what books, writing, poetry, podcasts, music, whatever. Because whatever you listen to gets into your mental and it gets into you. And you want to be careful what's pouring into you so you can have that positive and encouragement to be
Yeah.
able to do what you need to do for your children. Because every woman is not going to have somebody. You know what I'm saying?
This is true.
So
I would
just
tap
like
in
every
and say
man, though.
Yeah, I would definitely say find a village. Unfortunately, some people, just don't have that, their family or whatever. If you have to, find a village. Like there are groups on Facebook, like because we have technology, it's so much easier than it
Easy.
used to be. Or go to a place
Mhm.
where community is normally found. You can start at church. You can start at workout groups. Like find a clique of people that you can, so you don't just, like she said, carry all that energy around the house. Find adult friends that you can vent to and lean on, and don't be shamed. Find a safe space where you can say what's real. I remember the first time I heard another mother say what I like to call some real ass shit. And because again, when I first had kids, you weren't really allowed to say things like, I don't like being a mom, or I don't really feel like being a mom today, or this shit is hard. You weren't really allowed to say that without looking a sort of way because you got pregnant. Remember, you had the baby, you could have not, but you did.
Oh
So,
Lord, the
and so
case.
find a safe space where you can say without being judged, this shit,
Mhm.
pardon my language, cousin, this shit is hard as fuck.
It sure is.
Like where you can say that without, because I know you said, before you and your mom kind of grew through that, there was a lot of judgment, and unfortunately that's what it was for a lot of us. They
Yeah.
looking at you like you made your bed, lie in it, because that's what they were given. They weren't giving you grandma this and that. Grandma didn't have a safe space to say this shit is hard.
Mhm. Get it
Who to great
through it.
grandma who was a slave? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that wasn't there for her. The language wasn't there. The safe space wasn't there. So it's our job as the new aunties to become that safe space for this generation coming up. We're gonna try our best to give you what we may or may not have had.
Yeah.
The new Auntie Creed, baby.
So
The
we
new
opening the
I
floor for
embrace it.
conversation.
I embrace it because I think had self love and self worth been passed out like it should have been to black girls, there would be a lot less black single mothers. And it's no shade, and I know we're just 2 centuries
I mean
shy of
that
slavery,
that's true.
so
I think there would be less depressed and sad single mothers.
you don't think there would be less? I think there would be less because some of these men that we allowed to get us pregnant wouldn't even be able to access us if the self-love had been there like it was supposed to.
I agree, but we would still have to deal with the lack of men. I
And you
understand.
cover. I think you're covering the speaker.
Can you hear me?
Woo,
Yeah.
coming in hot.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's something I want us to hand back to the younger girls. I think a lot of the older women, I don't want to use the word bitter because I hate that word, but they were broken. There were little girls inside of them that never got the love they should have, and they were thrust into womanhood. And some
Right.
of them were married. Like I had great aunties who were married at 16 and 17 years old.
Right.
They didn't even get a chance to know themselves and be a woman outside of being a mother and
And a
being a
wife.
wife. So what can you give me? So it's hard to pass on a tool you did not have, but
Right.
you are still responsible. Like we the aunties, we are still responsible for getting the tools because A, we gotta give them to our kids, and B, we gotta give them to this younger generation. So even if we didn't have them, we gotta figure it out quick because they're getting older. Like you said, you blink and you're 35. I'm gonna be 36 this year. Like what?
Right.
My oldest is gonna be 15. I remember bringing him home from the hospital, but that's how
Right.
time works. So time waits for no man, and I hate that our elders, some of them went on to glory, not knowing that you were more than just my big mama.
Right.
You were more than just the glue that held the family together. You were a
No.
person with dreams, with ambitions. You had a beautiful soul outside of just being some nigga wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah.
it's so sad that there have been women who went on to glory with nothing to their identity except their children and grandchildren.
You know what? I'm gonna make sure that my boys know to put on my because when you were saying that, I just thought about tombstones in graveyards, and you always see beloved mother,
Yes.
wife, yada
Yep.
yada. I'm gonna make sure they put entrepreneur,
Yes.
talk show host,
Courtney
podcast,
Lyric. Like, here lies
event
Oh
Courtney
yeah.
planner.
Lyric. Yes.
Put all my degrees on there. I need my accolades on mine.
Yeah. You're gonna have to have a scroll.
She got one
Yes,
of them long too. Don't put
might as
nothing on,
well. They got enough room on them doggone
girl.
headstones
Don't
anyway.
put nothing on my program about no strength and how I held it together.
Cause I only held it together because I had to.
You hear me? Don't minimize me to that on my program and my obituary. Baby, I was an artist. I did plays. I wrote books. And yes, I was your mother, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah,
But I was more than that too. I was a person before you came along.
and I
Hey, girl,
yes, I love
you
it.
still don't love your mom.
I mean, hey, and even for the ones that got grown, and let's talk. Let's not just talk to the babies. This is for the empty nesters too. Learn a new hobby, start you a business, go back to school. I love seeing women that are considered older doing new shit in life. It's so dope. Your life don't end with them kids.
It showed on.
Go to all that traveling you couldn't do before. The time is now. Like the time is now, honey. Live that life. If you didn't get the availability to have enough of a village where you could really live, then please don't stop living now and just get settled into grandmahood. Like
I have to tell my boys on a daily. I am not your nana. You got a good nana. Your kids ain't gonna have no good nana, so they gonna have a good great nana. But I ain't my mama.
I'm
So you
looking
like,
forward to it, but I'm not in a
oh,
rush. Like when Jamil get out of high school, don't bring me no kids right away. Like let's go travel. Now that you own enough to pay for your own plane tickets, let's be out.
listen,
Like,
I'm gonna be having to make a decision. Listen, am I gonna be at Taco Tuesday? Or am I going to my grandchild game? You know, Taco Tuesday is gonna be more enticing to me.
now
So if
don't
you
be no
don't want,
dead meat granny.
you
That
got to give me some more
Now
time.
I'm
You
going
got
to the
to,
game,
you
baby.
got
I'm
to.
I'm
going.
gonna go to the game for
You
sure.
want me to, you want me to adjust my life because you want to have a kid? No, give me some more time. Don't put me in the situation to have to pick.
Right.
Baby.
It's called 40 and Fabulous. I'm really not looking forward to
I'm
grandmahood if
just
I can help it
saying.
until the 50s. But
But see, mom, that's what I'm saying. But see, my mom was a grandmother at 32. So at
oh,
32, my mom was a grandmother. At 34, she was a grandmother of two.
damn.
And so my mama was, she embraced all things Nana. She was at home knitting and getting stuff to she embraced all things Nana. I am not Nana. Matter of fact, my grandkids gotta call me lovely. They can't even call me Nana anymore. They got to call me lovely.
I can do Grandma Joe. I can do Grandma Joe. Only for my babies though. And I'm not in no rush to meet them. Sir, I know we don't have girls, but baby, live your life. You can
Listen,
only be 21s. Now don't do nothing stupid that you're gonna regret, but these women ain't going nowhere. They
at
ain't going
all.
anywhere. Do you want to be a baby daddy already? No. You're not
No.
ready to be a husband yet because you don't know yourself and you ain't experienced life. So hold off on that.
And your mama is going to pick going to Taco Tuesday over going to your game, so you should not have a kid.
Oh my god.
You should not don't do it to yourself because your mama can't even help you the way you need help. So you should give you and your mama some time to grow
My
before
god.
you do that to their child.
I agree. You know, if you do find you a little woman, let us get a little bond, a little, before you start breaking kids off on me. Like, wait a minute,
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm
give me
talking
a
about.
minute. Cause I'm trying to be 40 and fabulous. We can't travel if you have a newborn son.
Listen,
We can't go
but
to
I
Switzerland if
can,
you got a baby.
and
But
I
I
am not
can.
against the beach trip. Mm-mm. You
You're
think
right
I'm
about
just
that.
then I would have to pick about missing the beach trip or going to see my grandchild's birth. That should make me sound exciting, but I'm side eyeing the thought of it. Nah. Mm.
Sorry to the grandchild. Your granny is not gonna be there when you born because she gonna be in the Florida Keys. Okay, so
But you're gonna have some cute outfits and all the latest whatever.
Taco Tuesday. I ain't mad at it though.
I don't
Yeah,
got now. All I'm probably for real, but I might be joking. I don't know, so that's why
you
he should
for
not
real.
do it because I
I'm
don't
gonna,
know.
I was just gonna be just gonna ask you. You be going to Taco Tuesday?
Listen,
By
let's
all
go because I love a
means.
taco. Love a taco.
I'm here for it though. So to the empty nesters or about to be empty nesters, which I guess I'm kind of on the borderline unless I have another baby, which I don't know. I don't know. I don't see that happening. But have yourself a life too. Don't get so because when he's off to college, then what? You done been so consumed in being teen mom, man and mom, PTA mom. Now it's
Hey, don't talk
nothing.
about
Which
me.
ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. But once it's gone, what's left? You gotta have a life and a personality and a friend group of your own.
I agree.
I think the only thing that doesn't grow is a dead thing. And when you signaling to I don't mean to use the word the universe, but when you're signaling to the environment, when you're signaling to God that I'm done, I've done all I came to do, He gonna call you home.
Hmm.
You better get you.
Listen,
That's part of the reason why they died so young is because they did all they had to do. No, I got stuff to do. I ain't been to Africa yet. I ain't been to Switzerland yet. I ain't no. I got stuff to do. Mm-mm. Love these boys. They my heart.
I know, right?
I haven't had one of my films and one of my scripts go to the theaters yet. I got stuff to do. So I mean,
It's
don't
quiet
Miss
in them
Dorian.
comments, though. I'm,
Miss Dorian, what's going on?
look,
So those are some really good tips to the baby moms and also to the empty nesters too. Because I like she was saying earlier about the older ladies. I think some of that, I don't want to use the word bitterness, but some of that resentment came because they never got a life.
thank you.
Nobody ever told them they could have one. I'm telling you now, I don't care if you're 60. Go learn you a new language.
Hmm.
Go get you a little Spanish hottie that you can talk to and make margaritas with. Like,
Girl.
I done raised my kids. I've done the Lord's will. It is well with my soul. All right, he gonna call you home. You better chill with all that talk. Words have power.
Now I can say my grandmother, she travels. She travels. She travels. She's
Okay.
retired. She travels.
Meanwhile, Nanny, on the other hand, had grown adult people she was taking care of until the day she passed away.
Yeah. But the generations teach that, and not just like in parenting. People work themselves and then
Into
they
an early
retire
grave.
and then they gone. They don't even get to enjoy their
Enjoy
entire
the retirement.
retirement
Yep.
because they work till they didn't got their body has been worn down. They
Right.
can't really do much for themselves, and then you retire, you can't even enjoy the fruits of the labor that you already built up there.
Yep.
We taught that.
Grandma never asked for a break. The body gave it away. She was withering
Mhm.
away before your very eyes, getting skinnier and skinnier, and nobody said anything. Cause oh, grandma's strong. Ain't she strong? Love her. She holds the family together, and it was tearing
Mhm.
her apart. And we never said you're important enough. You are special enough that you don't have to carry all of our burdens just because we assume you're strong enough to do it. And that's our bad
And
too.
my grandmother didn't
Community.
have 11 kids. She had one. My grandmother had one child. Now her mama had a lot of kids. But
Mm-hmm.
the crazy thing is, when I was a little girl, Big Mama, that's what we call her. Her, and Big Daddy, they never stayed in the same room.
Mm.
I don't know why, but
Oh, you know
I
why.
they
Oh,
never
you
stayed
know
in the
why.
same room, but they stayed with each other till they.
Till yeah. So and I know we want to hold on to that, but like we were saying earlier in the conversation, when times change, when the world is changing, we cannot be the only
Mhm.
culture stuck in our old ways. Well, we're not. There are other cultures. Let's not pretend we're the only culture, but we talking to this.
Yep.
We don't want to be
Trust me,
stuck
they
in them
are.
old ways because are they benefiting the people we are now or that we are trying
The
to be
whole thing.
now?
Mhm.
It's too many murder suicides of mamas and kids and men and wives and all
Yep.
that stuff to think that whatever we've been doing is working. It's not working. So, ladies,
Not
take
in
your
this
break.
one.
Ask if you have to pay for it. If there's nobody in your life that will get your kids for you, if you got the means, pay for the break. They now that's what I'm saying. There's so many things today that I wish would have been out when I first had kids. Instacart
Mhm.
for starters. Instacart, Amazon. There are nannies or there are babysitters that you can hire for a day. You can find them online. If you want to go
Mhm.
out of town, there are sitters that you can pay for the weekend. Be willing to adapt and do what you need to do for you and try not to feel selfish about it, which is something I'm working on. Like, even when I went to
My
Jamaica,
my sons are grown, and I still have mommy guilt.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Even when
I
I went to
still do.
Jamaica for my birthday, which was 3 days out of a whole year, I felt bad because I almost couldn't go because I couldn't find the people I thought would have set them that live out here said no. So then my dad has to drive almost 4 hours to watch them. So I felt bad about that. Then he gets out here and the air in our apartment goes out. So even while I'm on vacation, I'm making calls, and I'm like, hey, I just stayed home. But no, I'm gonna celebrate me. I'm turning 35. That's a big thing for me. I made it through. I ain't never been out the country in my adult life. I'm gonna do it. I done paid. I'm going. I worked overtime to pay for this. I'm going. But yeah, I think Miss Dorian's phone died.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're kind of coming up on I think like an hour and 30 minutes. Let me see. Not quite, not quite. So we'll end it at about 1:30. So are there any tips that you would like to give to any mother out there that may feel frustrated right now, like
Mm,
today?
girl, get you some help. Get you some help, honey. I I try to think back and see have I ever felt like I needed a break? I don't I don't recall. Well, I do recall. Let me say this: when I first had Monte, when I
Hmm.
first had him, because he was a very clingy baby. But I just feel like find something that pours into you. Find something that you can grasp when that baby is asleep. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And that you can do to pour into yourself just in case you don't have anybody. Because when you get sunken into that place about I need someone and nobody's available, that's gonna mess
Oh,
with you even
I
more.
think
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Oof, that's
Even
real.
more. Pick up the phone and call somebody and and let them know what's going on and communicate. But make sure it
True.
be somebody like you said, a safe place because everybody's not safe to speak
Everybody's not
about
safe.
this topic with. You know what I'm saying? Because some people will talk down on you just for simply saying,
Well, look at the ghost of
right.
Christmas past.
Yeah, you came back, girl. You're back.
Yeah, let me,
With
the phone died on me, man.
But yeah, Miss Davis was giving some really good tips for the mothers that might be frustrated right now. She kind of dabbled on call somebody if you have to and find something to pour into. Like you were saying, Mimi, do I ever recall? I think I just got so used to not having the break and feeling like I won't say that I didn't deserve one, but like I made this bed. Like I wasn't
Yeah,
sexually assaulted. I
yeah.
chose to have these kids.
I
So
believe that was me, so it never came across my mind. Even when I see people complain about the kids being out of school, it didn't bother me.
it doesn't
I was
bother
like,
me
"Yeah,
because
I,
they're here.
I ain't
They're
got to get up
still.
and take them
That
nowhere.
and what's crazy is that is the part that I enjoy the most about them being out of school is I ain't got to get up, which is
Got to
still
get
a
up and
form
take
of a
them.
break. That's still a form of a break. I
Yeah.
don't have to get up early morning and drive nobody, so they can stay here if they want. They big enough now where they can microwave their own stuff.
Right.
But when they were
I
smaller and I couldn't find a sitter, that's when it would be hard.
right. I like that. A piece of advice that I would like to offer mothers is put your kid on a schedule.
Okay.
Put your kids on a schedule. I didn't realize how kids not being on a schedule was a thing because that was one of the things. Well, that's how it was with my family growing up. Kids went to bed at a certain time. Adults ain't talk to kids after 9 o'clock. So even after I had kids, my boys were in bed at a certain time, lights out at a certain time. So I've always been able to have per se my grown up time because my kids were on a schedule.
Yes.
So after 9 o'clock, whatever needed to be done, whatever alone time, if I wanted to take a long hot bubble bath, sip a glass of wine and listen to my old school, because that's how I like to unwind, I was able to do that because I had my kids on a schedule. But when your kids are not on a schedule, not only does that frustrate you and it makes you need that time and space, it makes everything chaotic
Chaotic.
around them. It makes their schedule, it makes it hard for them to accept direction and do things at school when they're not on the schedule at home. And black people especially, we do not understand how important putting our kids on a schedule is. So if you can
Yep.
get your kid on the schedule, it's going to be annoying in the beginning. You're gonna have to be the adult. You're going to not have to allow the kid to run you. You're gonna have to just hold tight and get them on the schedule. And those schedules actually help so very much. And especially if you're in a relationship, you definitely should, because that gives
Ooh.
you your grown up time. But that's a whole nother
Right,
conversation.
we're gonna have to come
But
back for that one.
yeah, my single mom's real deal that helped me so much by having my boys on the schedule. After 9 o'clock, unless you're bleeding, I shouldn't hear anything. We shouldn't be talking.
Right. I agree. So that's really good. Even when I lived in Shreveport, that's what I would call adult time. Like after they went to sleep and we watched our little shows together, spend time together. Now I can watch my grown up shows. Now I can watch Love and Hip Hop or whatever I do to unwind and then go to bed. So definitely agree with the schedule. What can I say for any mommies out there that might be frustrated right now and feel like you need a break? Ask for it. Communicate. And don't
Yeah,
care what people are gonna say because, like Mimi, like Miss Davis said, there will be judgmental
I
a
heard
holes who are most of them are projecting, and some people you have to watch out for those people that are just happy to see you struggle because that exists. But what's more important, the wrong people getting the information or you getting the break that you need? Like we're working on it as a community. I pray and making it a safe space where mothers can where that's normal. Just like you were getting paid, getting broke off. If your homegirl got a nanny, save your snarky comments. Are you mad because you couldn't afford one? I know I would be, but let's make certain stuff normal and being like, whoo child, I need a minute. Let's make that normal. You know, for women of color, for black women. We are not the exception. If the white women can get breaks, if the Indian women, Asian women, and Asian people, they live longer than anybody else. They're living up to 80, 90%. And probably because they have that community. I watch them while you go do this, that, and the third, so let's also yes be selfish but also be community minded because that's how the community grows because them people that never wanted to be community will be the first ones at your funeral talking about this that, and the third and I can't believe she did this and I can't believe she's gone. I can't believe she sis, I asked you for breaks and you just never would, and not that you're obligated to, but keep that in mind. And somebody tell that person, them people to sit down if they get up. If they go to Facebook talking about Lord, why? Get off the Facebook. Because when I asked you for a break, you were of no help. So let's try to be more community minded. Even though I am a single mother, I would get my sister kids when I live in Shreveport. I live in Texas and I get them a week, a year. Every summer they come out here for at least a week. And on the weekends, I would get them when I lived. This is with me being a single mother. Now, was I necessarily getting that in return? No, but I have that kind of heart. I love kids, and I don't mind. And I know that you're trying to do your thing, and I enjoy spending time with them, so it didn't bother me. But let's normalize that again because as kids, that's what we had. We went to our aunt's house every summer. Our grandmas watched us after school, but I understand also that we live in a different economy, and so a lot of the aunties have to work. A lot of the grandmas work now. So that would be my suggestion. If you need the break, ask for it, no matter what you think is going to make you look like, because we're trying to break that stigma of only weak women ask for help.
my bad. About to knock the camera over, child.
Lord. Well, that is our time. And I just want to thank you ladies for coming. We talked about some stuff that probably needs podcasts of its own.
indeed.
But if you guys weren't able to catch the live, it'll be on Spotify, it'll be on YouTube, and I'll be making a few clips for TikTok. All the I'm sorry, I'm about to say the Thick Writer Chick.
Yeah, because
The
the people
podcast is called the Thick Writer
was
Chick, but
asking where you at. I said, well, she got it on Friends only on Facebook, and I don't see it on YouTube.
oh my bad. I'm gonna make it public. But also so the YouTube and the Facebook is Courtney Lyric Presents. So that's how you would find it. But did you ladies have anything that y'all wanted to plug before you left?
No, just thank you very much for having me on. Follow me on TikTok, Doriana318, and D Ford on all other social media platforms.
Yay, yay.
Thank you so much, Courtney Lyric. I almost said your name. I heard you slip and call me.
We actually are cousins, y'all, so my bad.
Yeah, first cousins. But thank you for having me on. This is my first time doing this. I was kind of nervous,
Oh,
and
you're great.
that's crazy because I do lives for a living. So catch me on Facebook. I do live shows. I sell accessories, $5 accessories. So if you like, build your confidence, especially single moms, if you on a budget or whatever and you want to look good and look and jazz yourself up, come see me, girl. I
Yeah,
take
we're
care of
gonna
you.
have a podcast about that because a lot we did tell a lot of women to get out and go to Taco Tuesday, but sometimes your budget don't necessarily allow. So we are definitely gonna do a
Mm,
podcast about that. How to be a fashionista on a budget is a very big part of motherhood because if you don't feel it, you're not gonna go out. Your hair
I
ain't
know that's
did, you
right,
ain't
because
going
I know the
nowhere.
press on, baby.
Right, baby. Listen, and you got to get some accessories. Go get you a cute hat or something. Transform you real quick.
Yes, baby.
Yes, I'm a wig girl, so y'all can see my hair now, but the wigs are
You
coming.
a
But
what?
a wig girl, like if nothing else, I'm gonna plait this little fro up and put it under a wig. But so we definitely gonna have a podcast about that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. But thank y'all for
Yes.
joining us. For the people that watched the whole hour and 30 minutes, shout out to you. You're the real MVP.
Thank you. And I'm gonna shout out Kevin. I hope I ain't ruffle no feathers with him. I was just messing around with him.
Mm-hmm. Gone now, nah, gone. Look at he's still talking. Ring, ring,
Look,
ring.
I see he's about rain, rain. He wanna get on the line, girl.
This is a live for mothers about mothers. We will see you on Father's Day.
That part.
I tried, Kevin. I tried. I had your back. I had your back.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, and you all have a good evening.
All right, you
All
too.
right, thank you. Bye
Bye.
y'all.